to see undefeated number 4 Ohio State face once beaten and third-ranked Indiana. In addition to more than 17,000 fans, writers from all over the country have converged on Bloomington for a first-hand look at the biggest game of the year in the Big Ten. The nation's third and fourth-ranked teams with a combined record of 31-1. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick, and it's great to have you with us. Ohio State, 15-0. You have to go back to the glory days of Lucas and Havlicek before you can find a better start in 1962 when they were 22-0. Indiana is 16-1. The only thing better than that in Indiana history was the 1975-76 undefeated national championship team. It is quite a matchup. Let me bring in my partner, Dick Vitale. And Dick, both of these teams know how to win. They have great balance. They have great individual players. How do you see it as a coach?
Mike, when we look at this game right now for Indiana, we know they execute better than any team in America in their half-court offense. They have the great motion game. They screen exceptionally well, and they get the ball to their key shooters. Calbert Chaney and Eric Anderson will touch the rock, and they will get it off screens. For Ohio State, they're going to have to neutralize that, and I really believe we're going to see some zone defense by the Buckeyes.
Jim Jackson, of course, the key for Ohio State. What do you think Indiana will try to do with him?
I really believe that Bobby Knight wants to keep Jackson away from the middle of the floor. He's so effective as a passer. And for Indiana to win, one simple theory: they better block out, baby. If they don't block out and keep Carter and Tregley and Jackson off the offensive boards, it'll be a long day. That was the General Robert Montgomery Knight. Everybody's ready to go. He's ready to go. I'm ready to go. And you're ready to go.
Bob Knight in a good mood, and we're ready to go from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll be back with our lineups in a moment. It's Assembly Hall with a sellout crowd of more than 17,000 to see Ohio State and Indiana. Here's the Buckeye starting lineup. Watch Perry Carter inside. He must rebound well for Ohio State to win. He leads the Buckeyes and is fourth in the Big Ten with 8.3 rebounds a game. Randy Ayers, at age 34, the youngest head coach in the conference, in his second year after 6 as an assistant. He is 32-13. Indiana's starting 5 includes one of the most efficient assist men in the game. Jamaal Meeks has 96 assists, only 26 turnovers in 15 contests. He makes great decisions. He's coached by Bobby Knight in 20 years. He's won 446 games, 9 conference titles, and 3 national championships. There's a special atmosphere here tonight, and you can see Ohio State trying to overcome history. They have won once at Assembly Hall, only once. They have played great defense this year. They've held their opponents to 38% shooting. Indiana outscoring everybody by 25 points a game, and because of their very disciplined, very shot-selective offense, hitting 56% of their field goals.
Bobby Knight is so loose. I was with him before the game, as you saw him in the opening, and you know what he was talking about? Names like, you ready for this? Phil Linz in baseball, Clint Hartung, guys like Dino Rostelli. He says, I'm a baseball junkie, Dick, and I want to talk nothing but baseball.
Talk about loose. He's never walked by you when you were on camera twice and tried to block your face with a program.
I can't believe it. He thinks I'm too ugly, I guess, for television, but I'm a good-looking guy, Mike.
Well, that was his first good decision of the night.
As long as he doesn't turn my microphone and he leaves me with my motor mouth for this game, I'm ready to roll.
Ohio State has gone with the same starting lineup 15 straight games. This will be the 16th. Indiana, Bob Knight has changed up a great deal. Lyndon Jones, as you saw, the starting lineup will be starting tonight for Indiana in the backcourt. And there's Calbert Chaney, 22 points a game. Hits him from inside and outside. Just an outstanding player. And Jimmy Jackson, his counterpart sophomore for Ohio State, who is averaging 17.8 points, 4.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. As Dick mentioned, he is a superb passer.
If I have one liability about Jimmy Jackson's game, Mike, is that I think at times he's a little too unselfish and too passive and doesn't think enough shot.
Jamaal Meeks with a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, which is unbelievable. It looks like a misprint.
Watch the action away from the ball. See all the screens.
Anderson, 14-footer. Fight for the rebound. Knocked out of bounds. Out. to Ohio State.
Indiana, not a great rebounding team. Even with their tremendous winning record, they are not dominating on the glass.
Jody Sylvester, Gary Mincy, and Jim Burr are the officials.
Baker's the best point guard in the Big Ten. Very quick. Albert Chaney matched up. Now they switch. Lyndon Jones on Jackson.
Jackson with a bad pass. Good anticipation by Meeks. He has the steal, runs the break. Chaney traveled. You would expect both clubs to be a little tight at the beginning.
Really prepared for this game. Bobby Knight had double sessions yesterday, a morning workout, an evening workout. Excuse me, Mike, they want to keep Jackson away from the middle of the floor.
Baker and Brown, the backcourt. Brown leans into one. Lawson kept it alive, but Ohio State gets the ball.
Jackson very versatile. He can play 3 positions on a floor, man pressure.
Jackson works his way into the lane. Nice defense coming out, Eric Anderson.
Anderson with what we call a great hedge, stepping out to close the angle on Jackson.
Lyndon Jones with the ball. This is Anderson. He is their consistency up front. And this is the superstar, Chaney. Can't hit the first one. And Treg Lee rips down the rebound. Lee is really an improved player. There's another turnover. Jamaal Brown walked with the ball.
I think we're going to see this early in the game, Mike. As you mentioned a little bit earlier, both clubs really so energized, so enthusiastic, can't wait to play, and that's why we're seeing the turnovers.
Ohio State with 2, Indiana with 1. Very early. We have played a minute and a half in this game. There's no score.
The diamond trap, and they'll back up into a man-to-man defense. Indiana will try to finalize against him.
Anderson short with the jumper.
That trapping defense, he received that from Gary Williams when he served as an assistant to Gary, Randy Ayers.
Jackson gets it to Brown. Baker.
Good
Baker left alone. Got it. Mark Baker out of Dayton, who averages 13 points a game, has the first 2.
Tremendous look, though, by Treg Lee when they got the inside-outside action.
Lawson tried to use the glass, and Lee with another rebound.
Indiana 0 for 2 and trying to finalize against the press.
Perry Carter almost walked, and then he double-dribbled.
Indiana really has had a week to prepare for Randy Ayers' basketball team. The reason he's had a week, they had Iowa on Saturday, and Iowa plays basically the same style. The trap, the full court pressure, the double team.
It's a 4-on-3. Meeks gets it to Lawson. Anderson, offensive rebound.
Excellent offensive rebound and positioning by Anderson. Most rebounds and shot from the baseline will come from the other side, and he anticipated exceptionally well.
He was the Big Ten Player of the Week for the week ending January 6th.
Chaney really trying to deny the ball to Jackson, but Jackson runs him off the screen.
Jackson with a nice baseline jumper, 4-2 Ohio State. Quickly ahead to Chaney, and he is fouled by Baker. Did not get the bucket.
Chaney really hesitated rather than exploding to the goal. He hesitated, should have had a slam jam. Jackson, now watch him read the defense. There's the denial. Chaney's going to deny. Now he's going to run him right into a screen. And Chaney's a little lazy getting over that screen. Illegal screen, by the way. Did you see that moving screen? That was an illegal screen by Mr. Treg Lee for his buddy.
Chaney hits the free throw, 75% shooter. He's led this club in scoring 14 of the 17 games.
Many people are starting to talk now. Is he the best forward possibly in Indiana history? You have to think Scott May and Mike Woodson and Bobby Knight says they both did a better job of reading defenses, but this guy is young and could be the best before it's all over.
He's only halfway through his sophomore year. Jackson for 3. You said that's what they wanted to force him to do.
Shoot deep. He has 15-foot range. He is not a long-range shooter.
Lyndon Jones gives it back to Meeks and gets it right back in the lane. Lyndon Jones, the only senior on this club.
Getting a lot of valuable PT now, and he does a great job coming off a little curl move to get into the lane. Chaney a little bigger than Jackson could really affect his shot.
Jamaal Brown for 3, and Ohio State regains the lead at 7-6.
Brown is their best defensive player and a very streaky long-range shooter.
Chaney for 3, air ball. Lee collects his 3rd rebound.
Indiana playing a little bit faster than I think they'd like.
Jackson to the baseline over Anderson.
That's his range. Quick move off the dribble move.
Knocked out of bounds out to Indiana. Boy, it gets quiet in here when Ohio State scores, doesn't it?
Well, the Ohio State kids said that we have to get the early lead, Mike, to take this crowd immediately. We hear that cliche so often. Take that crowd quickly out of the game.
Jones against pressure, nearly lost it.
They got to push and try and get a score. 3-on-2, 2-on-1 against the pressure.
Seems to be the tempo that Ohio State wants to dictate, though.
I would go to Anderson against Craig Lee. I believe he can get him in foul trouble.
Lyndon Jones short on the three. Hustling
Oh,
after the rebound, and Jones commits the personal.
Jimmy Burr on a call. Interesting name, Jim Burr. He's the official that in that game when Bobby Knight took his team off the floor against the Russians, he was the guy that made the call and ejected. There he is. He ejected Robert Knight.
15:53 to go in the first half. Undefeated Ohio State leads Indiana by 3.
Mike, we're going to take a look right now. Jimmy Jackson's going to try to use this guy to come off a screen right here. He's going to get a screen in this area, and you watch the key player is going to be right here, Mr. Anderson, as he hedges and steps out. Now watch him step out. There he is now coming off. Now look at Anderson. He steps out, and he hedges on a play and makes the play possible and denies the shot to Jimmy Jackson. That's one of the principles of the Indiana defense. Hedge, step out, and give help.
Indiana so far hitting only 2 out of 9. Ohio State nearly 60%. And Brown hits his second three-pointer, and it's a 6-point Ohio State lead.
He's a streaky shooter, as I said a little bit earlier. A tremendous athlete with great jumping ability. Oh, look at this change to break the rhythm. They're in a zone, 1-3-1 zone.
Brown is #1 on the team in three-point field goal percentage, hitting now 50% for the year.
What the zone does now, Mike, it takes away the cuts and the screens. They have to get in the gap like that and hit the open shot.
Anderson, offensive rebound, leans in. It was blocked from behind, and they'll point at Jim Jackson. Boy, that looked like a great block on his part.
He's so calm. He has great poise. He's Mr. Clutch. Randy Ayers, what a job he has done. There's Jackson on defense, number 22. There's the rebound coming deep. Now here's Anderson going to lean right in. He leans. Oh, looks like he got all ball. All ball.
Somebody else may have hit Anderson a little bit, but it was not Jim Jackson. Anderson hits the free throw, 12-7.
Against Purdue down the stretch, Eric Anderson really was the difference. And the one thing that Indiana did exceptionally well in that game to come from behind was they got the ball to Anderson and Chaney late in the game.
And that was the game when Anderson and Chaney spent much of the game on the bench in foul trouble. 12-8.
Both these teams are not really long-range shooting teams. They're very unselfish. They pass the ball exceptionally well, looking for the high-percentage shot.
Craig Lee won't go. Lawson with a rebound, taken away. Nice steal by Carter. And Jones comes up with it. And he double dribble. What a play by Jamaal Brown. They had a 4-on-2 fast break, and Brown got in the way, made him turn it over.
Bobby Knight told me today, he said, I really like my basketball team. I'll tell you what, you think about next year, let's jump the gun. They could be preseason #1 next year. Either Indiana or Duke will be my preseason #1.
Jumper outside. Baker.
When Baker makes that open shot from the perimeter, he becomes just absolutely sensational because he's a slashing, penetrating guard.
Team is 24-5 with him as a starter, and that's his 4th break. 14-8.
Playing man-to-man defense now, a little soft on a perimeter, trying to change the defense, to change rhythm.
Chaney stripped from behind, and a late call. Foul will go on Jamaal Brown. That'll be his first.
Brown says, who, me? Not me. This guy has a lot of poise. What a class act. Here's Chaney now. Going to try to get off a screen of Lawson. And there's the play from behind. Looked like all ball again right there.
Oh, it was called by the official under the basket, who probably had the...
He anticipated body contact.
Yeah, probably had the worst angle on it at all.
We got 3 good guys on this game, though. Jody Sylvester, Bobby Knight said to me earlier tonight, might be the best referee in the country as Damon Bailey arrives.
Super fresh out of Heltonville, Indiana. Also coming in, Chris Reynolds, number 21, out of Peoria, Illinois.
He makes things happen, a tremendous defensive player. In fact, Bobby Knight was saying yesterday that he really believes that Reynolds has the potential to be the best defensive player ever at Indiana, and that includes, you ready for this, Bob Wilkerson, Quinn Buckner, and Randy Whitman, who are outstanding perimeter defensive players.
Bobby Knight also has Matt Nover, number 24, in the Indiana lineup, and for Ohio State, Chris Gent Number 21 has checked in. He was a starter all last year as a sophomore. Now he's the 6th man.
That's one of the great assets of Indiana, rotating a lot of bodies, tremendous balance.
Jackson avoids the double team. Perry Carter, not much of a threat from 15 feet.
See how Jackson wants to get in the middle of the floor?
Jackson for 3.
Oh, he hits the long-range jumper right over Reynolds.
Only hitting 32% of those long-range shots coming in, but he makes it a 17-10 game, and here's a foul on Jackson. That is his 2nd.
Silly foul in the backcourt on JJ. They need him on the floor. He's going to have to go to the bench. Jackson coming off a screen is shooting 9 for 28. There's the screen. Look at that screen by Carter. And there's the jumper. Reynolds steps out, but a little bit too late. Plus, he has the size to look right over the top of Reynolds.
Take Jackson out of the ballgame. Treg Lee comes back in, and now for the first time, Bill Robinson, number 54, the 7-footer out of Canton, has come in. They had hoped that Robinson would be their starting center this year so that Carter could go to power forward, but it hasn't worked out that way.
Robinson really has improved, though, Mike. He really had a solid year last year, contributing, gave him some good point production, had a big game in a win over Minnesota.
Damon Bailey drives the lane and puts it in. That's the way to make your presence felt.
That's where he loves to play, in the middle of the floor. He was basically like a front court player in high school.
It's called a travel.
Caused by Bailey. He leads his team in steals.
Bob Knight said he could play for me when he was in the 8th grade.
See, they're going to push now and try to finalize it. Not a good decision right there. Should have went to the left to Nova.
Chaney for 3. Anderson kept it alive, and they'll call Anderson for pushing off underneath.
Calbert Chaney is a big second-half player. He usually starts out of the gate slowly like we're seeing here.
Chaney averaging 22 points a game.
Great attitude, tremendous work ethic, has all the qualities that his coach loves.
There's the field goal story. Ohio State continues to shoot brilliantly.
Look at that defense by Reynolds. He really gets down. Great quickness, though.
Out of bounds to Indiana.
I love Mark Baker. He's got sensational quickness. This year, the Big Ten does not have what we call dominating point guards. Baker, though, is by far the best and really does a great job at that point guard slot.
5 turnovers for Ohio State, 2 for Indiana. Reynolds running the club now with Meeks out of there. Cut off, nice defense by Baker, and a bad pass.
Baker's
Greg Lee.
He's been an improved player this year. Finally, he's got into the starting lineup in his senior year and has been very productive. Reynolds,
50 assists, 25 turnovers. You look for that 2-to-1 ratio. But the starting point guard, Meeks, has a 4-to-1 ratio. Anderson had it knocked away from behind. Excellent defensive player by Treg Lee, but they can't save it. The number 3 and number 4 teams in the nation going after each other in Bloomington. It's 19-12, Ohio State over Indiana. We have a sellout crowd at Assembly Hall. Ohio State has hit 6 of its last 7 shots to take this lead.
Indiana somehow has got to start to get some point production out of Chaney. See, Bailey loves to drive that gap, find the seam.
Reynolds to Anderson. Can't buy one early.
Anderson and Chaney been very quiet.
Brown. Nice play by Baker to get him the ball.
What they're trying to do to make up now for Jackson being out of the game is to push the ball up the court quickly using the speed of Baker and the speed of Jamaal Brown.
And instead of losing their lead, they've been able to build on it. Here's a blocking foul called on Treg Lee. It's his first. We've got a timeout. 11:53 to go first half. 21-12 Ohio State. As Operation Desert Storm continues, we at ESPN encourage everyone to play sports in its proper context. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to our servicemen and women stationed in the Persian Gulf and to their families.
Mike, you mentioned that, I was in the locker room talking to Bobby before the game, and I asked him, I said, you coached at West Point back in the early 70s. I said, any of those people now out there? He says, you should ask. And he pulls out a letter from Lieutenant Colonel Wally Wojciechowski, a battalion commander. Operation Desert Storm is where he's at. He graduated from West Point in '72, played for Bobby. He is now there, and what an emotional letter. And Bobby really was hesitant in letting me see it, but I'm going to tell you something. showed another side of Bobby Knight in that locker room.
Anderson turned around the lane, had it swatted away, got it back, clobbered.
Very physical team. When you look at Ohio State, they are so physical. It's incredible. When you talk about the bodies of Perry Carter, there's the ball down deep to Anderson. Anderson takes it up to the goal.
Look at Carter.
Carter's he's a man. And there's the foul. The only thing that might keep Carter from being a legitimate big-time pro is the ability to shoot the ball, because he's going to have to go to the corner as Anderson bricks that free throw.
Anderson with 4 points. Junior out of Chicago. Hits the second one. Indiana has not been able to climb back against this early Ohio State lead. It's 21-13.
Good move taking Chaney out for about a minute. Whenever your shooting star is struggling, sit him down and bring him back on the floor. But they're going to have to get him out there quickly. They need his point production.
Brown, who has led them in scoring so far with 8, gets it inside. Carter, turnaround. That's his range.
Perry Carter with good post ability.
He's the number 14 all-time scorer, the number 5 all-time rebounder. He's a 4-year starter. He has been a terrific player for the Buckeyes. Pat Graham faked the three-pointer, gets it off. Another 3 from Damon Bailey. This one doesn't go.
Indiana really doesn't have a whole lot of offensive scoring on the floor right now.
Reach around, the foul called on Eric Anderson, his second.
This is a big segment right here for Ohio State. Even though Jimmy Jackson's sitting on the sideline, Bob Knight certainly has to be disappointed with the shooting right now of his team. They're just not shooting the ball well. Look at this. Scored 1 field goal in the last 6 minutes, and they're averaging better than 90 points a game.
Chris Lawson will check in the game. You have the feeling Eric Anderson is coming out, and he is. You know, the players can look over. Bob Knight is much calmer than he used to be, but they can look over and they see that motion of burying his head in his hands. They know they're coming out.
I'll tell you one thing. Bobby Knight really still gets as nervous as heck in the locker room before a game. His stomach churns.
Gent for 3, in and out.
Carter kept that ball alive, very quick to the basketball. He really sits deep in that post. I'd go to Carter against Lawson. His strength is too much for Lawson. Oh, that's a foul on Carter.
Miss. Carter. And Carter will be called for it, pushing off underneath. That's 2 on Perry Carter. So they're big guys inside. Carter and Jackson, both with 2 persons.
How could he think he can get away with this? Now watch the right side of the screen. Look at that push. I mean, the referee's standing right in the baseline, Jody Sylvester. That is not an intelligent play by Perry Carter. He's too valuable to the team. We saw Eric Anderson do the same thing in a Purdue game as it's 2 on Perry Carter.
He'll have to sit down with 10:34 to go first half.
He nods his head like saying, who, me? I didn't do anything. I only threw him in the 3rd row.
Lawson, the sophomore out of Bloomington, really the only true center on this roster.
He's starting to become a little bit more aggressive. He's always been a little soft. He's always had a good touch, but they're starting to utilize him as a screener more. Remember the famous screener, Sloan Screen, number 45. He was so valuable and he didn't score any points.
Well, this guy's 6'9", 245. He ought to be able to set a couple.
And he can shoot the ball, Mike.
23-15, crowd trying to get into it.
Good spacing by Ohio State, really duplicating what Indiana does so well.
It's Alex Davis, number 20, into the game for the first time, and he walked.
He's been a forgotten man, but he's had a knee problem. Alex Davis was a star last year at the end of the year. In fact, if you ask Rick Barnes, he scored 24 against Providence in an overtime win in the NCAA tournament. But he's had a knee problem. They say he's 85%.
Here's Jamaal Meeks.
Not a good decision by Meeks, throwing the ball way out there in the backcourt.
Even a worse decision by Bailey. He tossed it right into the hands of Baker. Baker trying to go end-to-end, and he did it.
That's a phenomenal move by Mark Baker. The running little kick with the knee up in the air, a la a guy years ago, Bob Cousy.
Meeks dumps it to Lawson, and Lawson lost it. Here comes Baker again. Knocked away by Meeks.
What is really happening with Indiana in the finalizing aspect of trying to attack the pressure, they're not getting their triangle they like to have. Bobby Knight usually likes to have the ball in the middle and 2 guys cutting 45-degree angles to the boxes. They're not getting good angles to make the play 3-on-1, 3-on-2.
In 10 minutes and 14 seconds of play at home, Indiana has only 3 field goals. The block to follow by Robinson won't go. They have 9 points from the free throw line. That's what's keeping them in this one. They're down 25-15.
I ask you right now, who's their number one option? They don't have a big-time scorer. Right now, Bailey would have to be their number one option with this club.
I was going to say, if Damon Bailey doesn't do it, who do you have?
Nover's not an offensive player. Meeks has no range as a shooter.
Bad pass by Meeks that time as he tried to hit Bailey on the alley-oop, and it gets Bob Knight up walking around. Here's a whistle and a foul before the shot.
I don't like the combination that's on the floor right now for Indiana. I don't think they have enough scoring out of this club, and they have to get Cheney back on the floor, and they're getting him in right now, Mike.
Meeks will come out. He committed the personal, his first. Only the 4th team foul against Indiana, and Jim Jackson will come back in. And Mark Baker gets a breather and a pat from Randy Ayers.
Be interesting to see who he plays at the point guard slot. Jimmy Jackson played some point last week. Here he is with the ball. Pass and go away, lay a screen, clear to the corner.
Treg Lee brings Lawson way outside with it. Gent can't get inside. Lee got his own rebound. Contact, no whistle, and Treg Lee puts it in.
They wanted a walk-in violation, but I did not see it right there. Good offensive rebound and conversion by Treg Lee.
27-15 Ohio State. Now they have to look for Calbert Cheney.
Back screen by Lawson, laid a great back screen for Cheney.
Nover forced his way through a double team, and Gent fouled him.
Ohio State doing a good job, doing an excellent job of switching defensively. One of the keys to the Indiana offense is a rear screen. Watch number 54. Here he comes, lays a rear screen. He's got to give him a step. He gives him a step, and then they just simply switched on it. All they did was switch. Lawson running around laying screens. Here's number 54. He's going to lay another screen. Look at him. He's not going to go screen, screen, screen.
Tom Brandewee, 6'8", 222, a sophomore, averaging 3.5 points a game. Checks in for the first time. And look at the free throw story. That's what has kept Indiana within hailing distance of Ohio State.
Within respectability.
And Nover, a 70% free throw shooter, misses the first.
He started earlier in the year. Tremendous high jumpers, got great legs. He just hasn't had a whole lot of basketball experience.
And then about a month ago, he was playing so poorly, got thrown out of the locker room at halftime.
Well, they all go through that. Every player gets a taste of that.
I understand he threw you out. 27-16, the crowd trying to inspire the Hoosiers.
Ohio State tries to initiate their offense with a double screen up high.
Jackson got it back. What a pass!
Tremendous vision. That's what makes him so special. He's such an unselfish player, a flat-out PTPer, Mr. Jimmy Jackson, JJ.
Holy cow, what a pass, and it makes it 29-16.
Well, he anticipated that move.
Cheney, nice hesitation in the lane to get free.
And he got free off a little curl move and curling into the lane where they've been keeping him out. See, they don't want Jackson in the middle. Great help to the middle.
And Cheney has to guard him. Cheney working with those 2 fouls. There's another great pass. And the shot is good by Brandewee. What a pass.
He's the best passing wing forward in America.
That was one of those wraparound jobs. Here's the double team.
See, now he's got to push the ball to the middle of the court and try and get numbers.
Bailey, 4-on-3, had it blocked by Robinson, got it back. Blocked again, but he's fouled.
Damon Bailey is an outstanding offensive rebounder. He had that tremendous knack in high school when he led his high school to the state championship, scoring 3,134 points. And it was unbelievable what he did in a final game at the Hoosier Dome in front of 40,000 fans. I'm surprised we haven't seen him on the floor a little bit earlier. Greg Graham.
Out of Indianapolis, a slasher. He's got good speed. Might help him against the pressure.
Bailey, at the end of the game in the high school state championship, his team was down. He scored like the last 13 points of the game and sparked them to the W.
72% from the line this year, averages 9.8 points a game.
He's had all kinds of pressure, the expectations, but he again just has the great personality, very laid back, said, hey, I'm just going to play to the best of my ability and try to please Mr. Knight.
Hits the second one, and Indiana closes within a dozen with 7:31 to play in the half.
Watch right here how he's going to lay a back screen right up on Chaney, and Jackson's going to run a curl move and post in this area, and then Brandaway is going to step here for the little kick for the pass. You watch this play. There he is off the back screen. Now Jackson's going to post. Now there he is posting. He's going to spin in a lane on Chaney. Look at Brandaway, dump the ball off. Brandaway shocked. He said, what's this? I got the rock in my hand. And he scores. Brandaway's a hustling, aggressive kind of player, getting some quality minutes.
Indiana's hit only 4 of its last 18 shots. That's why they're down 31-19. Brown got it to Jackson. He lost it out of bounds.
I've also been very impressed with the way Ohio State has done a job in their half-court offensive execution. Now, half-court trap right now. So you got to post somebody against this. You got to post Chaney, come to an open area.
Shooting story continues the same way it has the entire game. Ohio State is hot, Indiana isn't.
Randy Ayers has used 3 different defensive sets. He's used a 1-3-1 half-court zone, half-court trap, and man-to-man defense.
Chaney, good outside shooter, as is Damon Bailey. Chaney tries the 3. Here comes Ohio State. Baker on the run again. Brown, he's hit 2. Make it 3 3-pointers.
I told you a little bit earlier, Mike, he's one of those streaky shooters. When he feels it, they have not yet exploited this pressure for a layup or for a deuce that gives you momentum.
Brown has 11 points for Ohio State. They are up by 15.
And he's done a solid job defensively against Chaney, too.
The crowd is basically stunned right now.
Oh, there's a push on Chaney. They just knocked him down around the way.
Bailey got a screen from Jones. Nice pull-up jumper by Damon Bailey.
Under control as he makes that move. Most people would have been called for an offensive foul, would have played out of control.
Damon Bailey has 5, 34-21.
Indiana's trademark. Their defense is not making anything happen.
Jackson hit on the way up. And they'll call the foul, I believe, on Greg Graham.
He's getting the ball too easy in post position. Once he catches the ball in that deep, he becomes like a triple threat player. See, he's going to slide to the post area on Graham. He's going to use his big strength. He catches the ball in here, and now he becomes a big threat. He can score. He can dump it off. He's so effective if he can get the ball in that deep. 1, you must deny him the ball on the box.
Jackson with 7 points. 2-time Ohio Player of the Year.
He's such a beautiful guy. He reminds me of when Billy Owens stepped in at Syracuse as he misses the free throw. So unselfish. They want everybody to like them, so they play with a passive personality. I think Grant Hill possesses that also down at Duke. Tremendous talent, but he wants to be accepted. But I'll tell you what, when the game is on the line, Jackson says, move over, baby. Get me the ball.
Jackson, of course, recruited by Randy Ayers, who was then an assistant coach on Gary Williams' staff.
Let's not forget that Gary Williams has been sort of the architect of the team we're seeing here.
You bet.
Not to take anything away, because Randy played an important role in recruiting a lot of these people, and he's done an outstanding job blending them as a unit.
Here's a good move, I think, by Randy Ayers right here. He takes Jackson out of the ballgame with those 2 fouls. He's up 35-21. He can afford to give him a little more time.
And he's got a good guy to come off the bench as well.
Gent made the steal, and Tregley makes the basket. 37-21.
Indiana looks a half step behind the action. 5-second violation.
Indiana turns it over again, and I don't even think Bob Knight right now can get upset. He's just terribly disappointed by the way his club has played.
Here's the trapping press right here. See, right here, they're going to go into a trap. Once the ball comes in bounds, they want to trap the basketball off that baseline. There's the trap, pops the ball loose. Gent's a very versatile player. In fact, if Chris Gent watches tomorrow night on Sports Center, if he watches, he'll make my all, you ready for this? My all Dennis Eckersley's. Guys that come off the bench, meal lock specials. They give you a relief, baby.
Jeez.
And I got 6 men for my all 6-man team. See, look at the spacing.
Gent for 3. One of the few shots they've missed. Reynolds with a rebound.
I can't emphasize enough how spacing is so important to an offensive team, because it alleviates any kind of help.
Anderson had it knocked away. Got it back, fell down. Indiana's ball. I tell you, a lot of contact, no whistle.
Ohio State doing an excellent job keeping the ball away from the middle of the floor. See, they don't want it in here. They don't want the ball there, because you can't give help if they get in their offense.
Chaney, great patience, a great decision not to force what isn't there.
Chris Gent is a tough, tenacious guy, a lot of emotion. He's playing Chaney head-to-head right now.
Shot clock is at 7.
Help.
Anderson. He just can't hit a thing.
Baker did a tremendous job stepping in on Cheney, giving help. Look at that quickness.
Baker, nice feed to Carter. He missed. And Ohio State maintains possession. Brown got it and gives it up to Baker.
If there's any doubt that Ohio State is for real, forget about it. They will be in the hunt for the Final Four all year long. This is a legitimate big-time team.
Foul away from the ball. Pointing at Perry Carter. He banged into Anderson. That will be 3 on Perry Carter.
Clearly a foul. You watch it. Watch him right here trying to get position on Anderson. Now watch eventually. He's going to throw the elbow. There he is, going to clear him out, and he just knocks him down to the deck. Little swim stroke. See, the swim stroke is an illegal stroke to use in trying to establish post position. In fact, in the points of emphasis this year, as he gets his 3rd, that is one of the areas they're trying to emphasize. Swim stroke, not allowed to get an advantage.
Carter with 3 will have to sit down. And Anderson 3 out of 4 at the line, misses this one. Indiana down by 16. Bob Knight will put Greg Graham in the game and take out Lawson. He'll go with a smaller lineup, and he can afford to do that because Carter's out.
I was simply going to say before he made that substitution, if you had looked at the people he had on the floor, that composition lacked quickness. Now he has some quickness with Reynolds and Cheney, and also with Graham, that he can put some pressure defensively and try to create some turnovers.
As a head coach, do you want an assistant to point that kind of thing out to you?
Oh, without a doubt. You want your assistant coaches involved in the game. You don't want them to sit there and just simply say, Coach, we're down 15. He'd say, hey, I can read the scoreboard. Help me.
What a feed inside. Let's see if the basket counts as Treg Lee scored. Oh, gent, what a play.
What really impresses me about Ohio State is the high percentage offensive execution and efficiency. All great shots. There's Gent going to go around his back. Good look, excellent bounce pass, and Treg Lee is a different player than he was last year.
Isn't he?
Totally different. Came out so highly acclaimed out of St. Joseph's in Cleveland, where they produced another great Ohio State player, Clark Kellogg.
This was a guy that we talked about as one of those kids that had potential and didn't look like he was ever going to live up to it.
Exactly. He came in with Eli Brewster when they were freshmen. They were prop 48s.
But he gets a nice hand from the bench as he goes out, and Brandewie comes back in. 40-22, the biggest lead of the game, an 18-point spread.
Indiana fans are out of the game right now, so they don't have the advantage of the emotion of the crowd.
So they're out of it because their players are out.
Oh, they're doing a great job trying to fan the ball to the sideline, keep it away from the middle, and eliminate the ball reversal.
Graham gets it to Nover, double pump, and he got Matt Nover out of Chesterton, Indiana.
Two-man play between Graham and Nova. Good execution. But see, Ohio State's able to get a shot with every possession. They have not been able to force the turnover and get a layup up the court.
And they're doing this without their 2 stars up front. And here's another foul.
I told Bobby today, I said, Jerry Tarkanian told me at a function that Ohio State was the toughest team they played last year in the run for the gold and for the championship. He said that UNLV had their toughest time as they play against Santa Barbara tonight. That was their last loss.
Last team to beat them. It's a Big West matchup that comes your way at midnight tonight. If you remember that Ohio State UNLV game, the Buckeyes were in it 38.5 minutes.
Right down the wire. And they also were played kind of tough by Ball State, but Tarkanian said his players said that physically, that talent-wise, Ohio State was the best team they played.
Jamaal Brown, 12 points, make it 13. And the lead is back to 18 points. A heck of a show for the Buckeyes of Ohio State, 3:37 in the half. Thank you very much, John. We have 3:37 to go here in the first half. 42-24, the 3rd and 4th ranked team in the nation. Depending on which poll you like, they're reversed. But it's been all Ohio State so far. They have done a sensational job.
Now another great decision during the timeout. He knows Indiana's going to attack their man-to-man. He goes to the zone.
Graham for 3. Offensive rebound. Basket counts by Greg Graham.
They need a spark. Greg Graham has the potential to provide that spark. Averaging 13 points a game off the bench. He's been a quick slashing player for Indiana all year long. He gets good inside position on the offensive boards. Graham really struggling shooting the ball. And he's supposed to. There's Graham working on the offensive boards, draws the contact.
Foul was against the 7-footer Bill Robinson, his second.
You know, Pat Graham is a marvelous shooter. But check his numbers. Shooting like 20-some% from three-point range. And technically, he has every part of the shot just to perfection. But it's just not falling.
Bobby Knight really upset with Calvert Cheney. Took him out of the ballgame and dressed him down a little bit. 42-27, the lead cut to 15.
These last 3 minutes become big. They got to try to get it to 10, Indiana. They got to go in at halftime within 10. Ohio State's going to try to blow it up. There's a turnover.
Craig Lee walks.
I'd get a timeout if I was Randy and settle my club down a little bit.
He already did it.
Good move by Randy Ayers. Boy, this guy is right on top of the game. I'm so impressed with Randy. Not only is he a beautiful person, he's got excellent control of the team. He was so impressive today at the workout.
Indiana has hit 13 of 17 free throws. 13 of their 27 points have come from the line. That means they only have 14 points from the floor in the first half. This is a team that can score a ton of points. They run an offense that gets some great shots. They're at home. They're the #3 team in the nation, and they've got 7 field goals.
They had 99 points on Saturday against Iowa. They played really an average game at halftime up at Iowa. That's the first loss for the Hawkeyes on their home floor. But they came back and got 59 in the second half.
Be sure to be with ESPN this Sunday at noon Eastern, the Super Bowl edition of NFL Game Day. Remember, no week off this year. Chris Berman, Joe Theismann, Tom Jackson, Pete Axtell. They'll all be there to preview Super Bowl 25, Buffalo and the Giants. Then back at 11 with prime time for a complete wrap-up of Super Sunday. And you know Bob Knight has to be thrilled because of his friendship with Bill Parcells.
Yeah, he told me today. He said, I spoke to Bill today. He said, hey, Bill was a heck of a basketball player. And if you believe that, I want to sell you some real estate. He played at Riverdale High School under Mickey Corcoran, an outstanding guy who I know as a former great coach in Bergen County. And Bob said, I recognized when I was at West Point, I was a head coach. I told people then, as he was an assistant, that he would be a big-time coach someday.
Oh, he is that. Congratulations to both the Giants and the Bills for their big wins, and good luck next week.
Well, you know who's going to win that game. Let's not waste time. Kelly, the Buffalo Bills, baby. Put it away. Take the gold trophy.
If I knew, would I be here?
Bruce Smith is a dynamo. You have Taylor, I'll take Smith.
Graham goes inside. Jump hook by Matt Nover. Missed it badly. Rebound went to Gent. And Nover will be sitting down in a hurry. Bob Knight has Chris Lawson ready to check in. He just can't get any rhythm going in his offense.
That's because of the full-court traps and the changing of defenses.
Indiana trying to pick up its defense a notch. And they're doing all this with Jim Jackson on the bench with 2 fouls and Perry Carter on the bench with 3. This is Craig Lee. Offensive rebound. Ohio State maintains possession.
Indiana did not block out, and they get the second shot. They got quick players along the baseline.
Brandewie had the offensive rebound.
Craig Lee's a good perimeter player as well. Excellent passer. See with that size right over the top of the defense.
Gent. 44-27.
Gent gets the deuce, but what a tremendous look by Craig Lee.
Damon Bailey. Ohio State hitting 60% from the floor. Nice penetration by Greg Graham.
I don't understand why he doesn't get more PT, Mr. Knight. I really like Greg Graham.
Averages 9.5 points a game. Has 5 tonight. 44-29. A minute 40 to go in the half. Mike Patrick and Dick Vitale with you from Bloomington. Glad you could join us on what is not just Big Monday. This is a huge Monday.
Usually Indiana gets scores off their defense with steals and transition. There's a pop. They pop one loose.
Boy, that was Reynolds who reached in and got a hand on the pass. It's out of bounds to Ohio State.
Mike, I don't remember yet tonight Indiana getting the steal and converting in transition for a layup.
.20 seconds on the shot clock. And they lost it on a 5-second call. No, they got the timeout. I'm sorry, the way Jim Burr made the action, I thought it was a turnover, but he gave him the timeout. Jim got really excited about that timeout, didn't he?
Jim Burr really is enthusiastic about his calls, and I like that about an official. They got an excellent crew here on this game. There's a look at Jimmy Burr. He's quick with the trigger. I mean, he's not going to take any nonsense. He'll call that tape. Look how quiet this place is.
44-29.
People better not forget, and Randy Ayers, I'm sure, feels that way. This is the first game of a 3-game road trip. They're here, they're at Minnesota, and then at Michigan State. And I really believe this. Michigan State will be a major factor before long. They're creeping up. I believe they're on a run of winning about 9 of their last 10. And Steve Smith is the best player. Without a doubt, you can talk your Cheneys and your Jacksons, and I love them. They're young yet. I think right now Smith is the best player in the Big Ten.
Just a sensational player. And right now, Jackson and Carter have been on Randy Ayers' bench.
What's so beautiful about Randy Ayers, he hasn't changed from the time I tried to recruit him. I failed. I couldn't recruit him for the University of Detroit. He goes to Miami of Ohio. He gets drafted by the Chicago Bulls. He finds out he can't make it. He goes back and gets his master's degree, gets into coaching, goes to where Bobby Knight was coaching at West Point as an assistant, served 6 years as an assistant coach at Ohio State, and here he is now as the head coach.
15 of Indiana's 29 points have come from the bench. Here's a travel. Jamaal Brown shuffled the feet.
And it was off a double team. Indiana rotated into a double team and forced the turnover.
And that's the 9th turnover for Ohio State. Boy, Indiana needs a bucket here, and they need it very badly. The starters have hit only 2 of 16 shots. This is one of the reserves, Chris Reynolds, to another, Greg Graham, to another, Damon Bailey.
2 scorers on the floor right now would be Bailey and Brand. Any other point production would really be not in their top options.
Bailey kicks it back out to Greg Graham. 20 on the shot clock.
Bailey steps back after the screen.
Bailey with a penetrating drive, spun out on it. Lead down court for Brown.
He's got a trailer.
Put it up. He is fouled by Greg Graham. That will be his 3rd.
Poor job by Ohio State in transition, lack of communicating because Baker had the easy layup, but he's got to call out because Brown doesn't have vision of him. He's got to scream, I'm behind you, I'm behind you, I'm behind you, I'm the trail man. There's Bailey. He makes a good drive down the lane. Ohio State with the good rebound. I love the way Lee outlets the ball. Now, right now, see, 2-on-1, here's Graham, and right behind him is Baker. Baker's right behind him as a trail man.
Brown hits the free throw, 45-29.
Hey, who was the announcer that said they played their first 7 games Cupcake City?
You.
I said that? That they played a cupcake? They really did, though. They'd have to admit it. You look at their first 7 games, they were against nobody.
That's Jamie Skelton, the freshman out of Dayton, will check in for the final 45 seconds, and Brandewie will sit down.
This pressure has been very, very effective because Indiana has not punished them by scoring against the pressure.
I was just going to say, Dick, they have not made them pay for it one time tonight. Good feed to Lawson, fights off a block and then missed it. Will Ohio State play for the last shot? No, Gent takes it from the baseline. Offensive rebound, and Gent saves it in the corner, then knocked out of bounds to Ohio State with 19 seconds left.
Gent took that shot today about 100 times. And you know who was feeding him the ball? No, not that guy, but the other coach, Randy Ayers. He was passing the ball to Gent in that baseline all day. He says, you're going to shoot that shot, you're going to shoot that shot.
Baker hangs in the lane, got the roll. 48-29, the lead has grown to 19 points. Offensive foul called on Greg Graham. That is his 4th. And folks, when it goes bad, it goes real bad.
Out of control right there. Bobby Knight knows his team has played poor basketball. They have not executed. They haven't done a thing against the pressure. See, right now, he's got an open man. You watch right here. He's going to miss. The guy coming to the box. He had inside position. Lawson, not a good play by Graham.
And now Ohio State will get the last shot. Baker for 3, won't go. Skelton at the buzzer. No basket.
Would you like to be in that locker room right now? Listen to the oratory of Bobby
Not me, pal. Where Ohio State leads Indiana. The score is 48-29. Mike Patrick and Dick Vitale back with you, and it's time for the Windex Player of the Week, baby.
Baby. Hey, I tell you, Mike, there's been some great performances. Clarence Weatherspoon was super for Southern Mississippi. Malik Sealy, he cleaned the glass for St. John's and Louis Cornacecca. Adam Keefe, what an unbelievable post player for Stanford. But my winner, let's go to Mr. Steve Smith. He was unbelievable, baby. He did a super job for Judd Heathcote and the Michigan State Spartans. He's the best player in the Big Ten. He's multi-dimensional. He can handle the ball. He can score. He can pass the basketball. Has great body control. Great hands. Look at his catch right here. Change it to the left hand. The Windex Player of the Week, Steve Smith, the All-American from Michigan State.
And Windex will donate $1,000 to the Boys Club of New York. We're at halftime, where Ohio State, unbeaten, leading Indiana 48-29. Once beaten Indiana 48-29. Welcome back, everybody. Mike Patrick and Dick Vitale. In the first half, just an unbelievable performance by Ohio State. They dominated every phase of the game, and their pressure, normally you expect to see a team make the other guys pay for that pressure defense. Indiana never did.
Well, they really did a great job with their pressure defense. Their zone press created problems, and that Indiana did not finalize. Right now, as we look at the pressure, take a look at the diamond right here. Now, I'm not an artist, but that's a diamond, and they got one guy back. That's why we call it diamond in one. And that pressure has really created a problem in that Indiana has not finalized and punished them. They throw the diagonal pass, a good pass against the pressure. Now, look at Meeks. He throws the ball back deep. Now, look at here. 4 guys are back in defensive transition. They do a tremendous job in recovering. Now, look at Indiana with the forced pass by Bailey. No way can that pass be thrown over the top of the defense, and they do a great job, Ohio State. Look at the stats. 28% stands out, and then we look at the field goal percentage. 0 for 5, though, Mike, from three-point range.
And the assists, 11 assists for Ohio State, 0. Absolutely none for Indiana in the first half. And you have to keep in mind that Ohio State did this with Jim Jackson and Perry Carter both playing only 9 minutes in the first half.
Was he happy? Take a look at Bobby Knight's reaction to the first half. Ooh, that had to hurt. That had to hurt. That had to hurt.
And this is just a guess, but I would think by tomorrow morning they'll need to repaint the inside of the Indiana locker room.
Well, I think right now what you have to look at here, this game has got to be played in 2 10-minute segments. Right now, Indiana has to play a game to try to get this to 10 by the 10-minute mark.
Bob Knight does not start Calbert Chaney in the second half.
Inside, outside, they really execute that play well off the boxes.
Jackson, nice pass to Lee.
Good ball movement. They're so unselfish. Good skip pass right over the top of the defense.
Jackson tried a real tough pass, had it tipped out of bounds. 17 seconds on the shot clock.
Too unselfish. Right there, Jimmy should have looked at the basket. The reason the skip pass is effective against Indiana because they give so much help defensively. It's almost like a zone.
Craig Lee takes the inbound pass. Shot clock running at 13 seconds. Baker with a pull-up jumper. He's had a fine game tonight.
They're getting good shots, Mike. The execution has just been perfect. There's the diagonal pass. Here's the 3-on-2. Let's see if they can score. Nope, they can't score off it.
Lawson back to Damon Bailey. The basket counts, and he's fouled.
Good look.
Damon Bailey bailed him out on that.
Good look by Lawson to get the ball to Bailey. Indiana cannot, and I emphasize cannot with big letters, cannot win this game without Calbert Chaney. There is the dump down by, now see they're going to bring it out, but then he spots Bailey cutting without the ball. And Bailey with a good head fake.
Foul on Baker was his second. And Bailey makes it a three-point play, 50-32. Quickly down court to feed and the block. Damon Bailey from behind, Chris Lawson in front. They sandwiched big Perry Carter and stuffed his shot.
At least it brought some life to the Indiana fans. Randy Ayers says he laid a body on him. There's the entry. Now here comes Lawson trying to recover. There's Bailey.
I mean, that kid's 6'3", what a leaper, and he goes up and forces another bad shot. Offensive rebound, Jackson, and he is fouled by Chris Reynolds.
Indiana needs point production. And when you look at their combination right now with Reynolds and Meeks on the floor and Lawson, they really have no scoring. That guy has to play. If he does not play, get the bus right now, go home to the dormitory, and get back in the gym and prepare for the next game.
Nice job by Treg Lee to tip the ball outside. Jackson working on Reynolds. Jamaal Brown missed his shot.
Bailey's really trying to make something happen for his club.
The block inside by Treg Lee, and Ohio State back the other way. Jackson. Oh, did that hurt Indiana?
Is he smooth with the basketball? Very silky smooth, under control, knows his range.
He has 10, and the lead is 20. Count them, 20. Not what we expected. Would be an understatement.
Anderson's got to assert himself a little bit more offensively. He flares right now to the corner. He's got to take charge and want to score. He just ran off a back screen. They dump it down to him.
Nice feed by Bailey, and he missed again. Anderson with only 6 points in the game. His shooting has been way off. Baker, and he's fouled.
Nice change of direction. Randy Ayers trying to make like a coach.
Basket did not count. Randy Ayers wanted it.
Baker
only in the NBA, huh?
Look at this right here. Watch the change of direction. He freezes the defensive player. A little stutter step. Oh, there's the bump by Meeks.
Got him well before the shot. Non-shooting foul.
Indiana needs points. Graham and Chaney. I don't understand Bobby's decision right now, playing without Chaney and playing without Graham. In a big game like this, there is no way they have enough point production to be able to get in this game with what they have on the floor now.
Biggest lead of the game, 54-32, and Damon Bailey cuts it.
They'll just simply trade baskets with him right now.
Indiana needs some great defense and a run. There's the block by Lawson, and the late call, the foul on Lawson. Well, that one looked pretty good.
We're going to take the ball right in the lane, take it right to Chris Lawson. He leans inside. Looked like a all ball to me. Here comes Chaney.
Been about 3 of those tonight, and the crowd applauds as Bob Knight will send Chaney into the game with 17:23 left. Lawson will come out. Chaney had only 6 in the first half.
He's had a lot of games like this where he's had 4 at halftime, 25 in the second half. He's a very explosive scorer. But the question mark is not only scoring, like they haven't shown that they can stop Ohio State.
Jamaal Brown with 16 points tonight.
He's a forgotten man. He's like their 4th option, and he's such a solid player.
Missed that one, kept alive for a moment by Treg Lee, but Indiana has it.
Every possession becomes now big to Indiana.
They find Chaney right away. Forces it into the lane, missed the shot. And Bailey will get the foul. Sometimes you just have those nights, don't you, Dick?
Well, at least he's happy for his alma mater. He went to Ohio State. He was on the great teams with Havlicek and with Lucas and that great gang in 60, 61, and 62. And I was teasing him at his roast. I said, Bobby, when I did a tape for his roast, I said, let me tell you something. You are nothing but a cheerleader. All you did then was simply say, do it, Johnny, do it, Jerry, because you couldn't play a lick.
Must have learned a lot, though, huh?
I'll tell you what, he learned a lot from Fred Taylor. You better believe that.
Bad pass by Baker. Here comes Meeks. Reynolds, burst to speed. He's fouled on the way in.
Personal foul.
Foul on Chris Gent, his second. There's the that team started 22-0. They finished as the national runner-up.
Jerry
Lucas, they had Havlicek. Boy, what a great team.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was the 60 team that won that national championship.
Reynolds tried to put it up, had it partially blocked. And Eric Anderson, offensive rebound, and he's fouled by Gent.
This crowd is trying to get excited. They're trying to get jubilant. They're trying to spark their team.
In the first half, Indiana would just shut off the boards, 20-12 in rebounds, and they need that offensive rebound.
I was just thinking, Mike, can you imagine this could have been Jay Edwards and Lawrence Funderburk with this club? And maybe if they had recruiting success, Eric Montross, now you're looking at a dynamite team. Funderburk, by the way, has 3 years of eligibility, and he'll be playing for the Buckeyes. I hope he makes it, because I don't want him to make my could have been, should have been, would have been team.
Anderson failed on the attempt to make it a three-point play. It's 55-36. Ohio State just maintaining that lead.
Great poise. Excellent pass by Baker to Gent when he threw it over the top.
This is a critical game for Indiana because it is at home. Knocked out of bounds by Anderson. In the Big Ten or any other major conference, if you don't win your home games against your top-flight opponents, it's very tough to win the conference.
Bobby Knight told me his #1 priority is to win the Big Ten championship. The postseason, the NCAA, is the appetizer.
Baker leans into the lane and hits it. The lead goes back over 20 again. 12 for Baker.
Baker 2 weeks ago went 2 games without a turnover in 59 minutes of action in the Big Ten.
Damon Bailey at the baseline, trying to provide him a spark. He certainly has.
He really has played well off the bench.
Greg Lee. Here comes Meeks.
Chaney's out in the break. Chaney's out in the break.
Oh, and he was pushed too. They missed it. Chaney got the bucket.
He was explosive in that break. I mean, he threw it in high gear to get ahead of the basketball.
He made up 15 yards on everybody. 57-40.
Can they get it down to 10 at the 10-minute mark?
If they score another bucket, watch Randy Ayers. He'll want to stop the clock. Lee from Jackson. Craig Lee scores. But remember, Ohio State only has 1 timeout left for the rest of the game, so he may not be able to stop the run here.
That's with the new rule in television, only 3 timeouts.
Meeks down the lane, fouled from behind by Craig Lee.
The big problem right now is not the scoring end for Indiana, but it's their defense. Can they defend Ohio State?
15-13 to go from Bloomington. Ohio State maintaining its 19-point lead on Indiana. 15-13 to go in the game. Ohio State leading Indiana 59-40. They finally got a fast break basket.
Well, here's Jamaal Meeks pushing the ball out, but look at the thoroughbred. Look at this guy run, number 40. I mean, he just throws it in high gear. He sprints. CC, Calbert Chaney with the deuce. As I said, Mike, they cannot win without Calbert Chaney. Wow.
Indiana ball down by 19. That was the spread at halftime. 15:06 left in the game. Chaney. Well, they just won't fall. They have shot the ball horribly tonight.
And he did an exceptional job right there, running his man off the screen, ducking in and popping back out. Can't emphasize enough the great spacing to eliminate the help defense of Indiana. Good job right there reading that pass.
Meeks against Gent, blew by and missed the shot. Here's the follow by Chaney.
Chaney's really playing hard. He's playing so hard. Now the question is, can they defend Ohio State?
59-42. The crowd again trying to help the Hoosiers.
When in doubt, give the ball to Jimmy Jackson.
Jackson with a leaner. Wouldn't go. Anderson rebound.
Indiana's
Big possession here.
They got to push it out.
Chaney had it spin out on him. Baker back the other way.
Back it out, use some clock, get the high percentage shot.
Indiana's had about 4 opportunities where one basket might have turned the momentum. They have not been able to make it.
Mark Baker last year played a little bit out of control, but not this year. See, that's where he loves to get, draw the help.
Jet for 3.
That was a great play by Jimmy Jackson. He drew the help to him and then dumped the bounce pass, read the defensive move perfectly.
The lead is back to 20. Every time Indiana gets a little spark, Ohio State has the answer. Damon Bailey working against Gent. Tough shot, and he missed it. Anderson, ball out of bounds, out to Indiana.
Substitution, Ohio State. Number 30,
Watch the great job by Jackson as he draws help to him, and then he kicks the ball out to the wing. Watch Jimmy Jackson. He's exceptional in the way he draws help. Little change of direction. Now spin to the middle. They want to try to keep, look at the help. He draws Meeks, dumps it off. Jen says, thank you, Jimmy.
62-44. Cheney scores inside. He's hit 4 of 10 shots now after making his last 2. Anderson has only hit 2 out of 7. Your superstars in a big game have to shoot better than that. Gent out of control, and he walked.
Indiana has a nice combination with some quickness right now. And now Bobby Knight's even going to try to increase the quickness by bringing in Greg Graham. They'll give him actually a little bit more size, not more quickness, because Meeks is certainly a quick player.
62-44, 13:07 left.
I like this 5. I did not like the combinations he was having on the floor earlier, but I really believe this 5 could cause some damage.
I don't like any combination without Cheney.
That's right, any combination at all. Well said, Mike.
Bailey outside has not looked for a 3. There's Cheney to the lean in. He got the bucket, and he is fouled by Gent. That is 4 on Chris Gent.
Tell me, my friend, how could this young man sit on the pine? How could he be an assistant coach? This is one marvelous talent. This is one absolute superstar talent.
Well, he obviously did something in the first half to get dressed down by Bob Knight.
What else is new? Look at him posting on Jet right here. He says, no, Chris, you can't stop me right now. I want the rock, baby, and I'm going to score. I love him. I love Mr. Cheney.
Oh. 62-47. This is as close as Indiana.
Oh, great stop! Three-point play! That's a big play, baby. Put that one down. What had happened? What a momentum build-up.
Greg Graham with the steal, made the bucket, and he's fouled. What a huge play.
He has quickness on the floor now with Graham. You better believe it, baby. It's showtime right now.
The spread is now 13. Graham can make it 12.
I would go with the club he has on the floor now to some full court pressure. I would go to some full court pressure.
There it is.
Thank you, Coach Knight.
62-50. Crowd into it now, you think? Woo!
Cheney has really come to life.
Brown has had a sensational game, works for a shot, had it knocked away. Baker retrieves. Lee, knocked away. Shot clock at 17.
Randy wants to go to some motion right now. Good call. Jackson's got to curl out for the ball.
Brown all the way underneath, blocked by Cheney. They call it for a foul. Holy cow. Boy, it looked again like he got all ball.
This guy's as calm as can be. His fans aren't. Cheney cannot believe the call. From our angle, it certainly didn't look like a foul. Here's Cheney going to rotate over. We're going to watch Cheney come over to give some help. I'll tell you, in the Big Ten, you're going to blow that whistle after all the contact we see in this league.
Well, he went straight up. He certainly didn't create the contact.
Jimmy Barr points right at him. One thing I like about Jimmy Barr, he makes the call with authority.
Brown with 16 points. Make it 17.
That was a big possession right there.
Huge.
You talk about a 4-point potential turnaround right there.
But you have the feeling old Mo has changed. Brown hits them both. Every possession will get big for Indiana right now.
That stopped Mr. Mo a little bit right there.
Graham with a leaner. Basket counts and he's fouled.
He's another player. I know it's easy to coach up here, Mike. It's hard to believe that Greg Graham doesn't get a lot more playing time. But then again, when you're 16-1.
That's 4 fouls on Perry Carter.
There's Greg Graham now, the slasher. Now you know who the best players for Indiana are, because right now it's gut check time. You find out who the general really, really likes, and you can see who he's playing at this moment.
Greg Graham with 10 points. He could cut the lead to 11.
Full court pressure. Got to go into full court pressure. Not going to press this guy that easily.
Baker against Graham.
He can handle the rock.
Well, this is the kind of emotion and game we expected all along.
Bailey has given him a tremendous lift off that bench.
Knocks the ball out of Gent's hand.
You'll never fault Damon Bailey for effort.
11:45 to go. The lead down to 11. 17,000 has suffered through most of this game watching their Indiana Hoosiers being beaten badly by Ohio State, but now it's an 11-point game. The crowd is in it. Bob Knight is in it, and so are the Indiana players.
There's a look up at top, some of the things that have been achieved here. Winning 3 national championships. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's up on that ballot this year.
9-2, the scoring run in the last 2.5 minutes.
Bailey's now got the honor of guarding Mr. Jackson.
Robinson, offensive foul. He elbowed Anderson. That's 3 on Bill Robinson.
Randy Ayers talking to Bill, saying, Bill, you can't do that right in front of the official, Bill.
Boy, and he did, too. An elbow right in the chops.
I just love the poise of Randy Ayers. He never loses his cool. He didn't lose his cool as a player. I remember him in high school, as I said. I tried to recruit him. Just class. His mother, Betty Ray, is one of the great ladies. She raised 8 children by herself, and 6 of them graduated college. You are my woman of the year, Mrs. Ayers.
Randy Ayers, a class act for Ohio State. Anderson can cut it to 10.
We said, Mike, if you remember at the beginning of the half, we talked about how Indiana had to break this game up into 2 segments and try to get it to 10 at the 10-minute mark.
Anderson misses the second one badly. He has 9 points. The lead is 10. Once again, what kind of defense will they be able to play?
Chris Reynolds now getting right all over Jimmy Jackson. Usually it's JJ time when you go late in the game. Foul on Jackson. Ooh, they get it on Reynolds. Jody Sylvester, I don't know. Chris Reynolds saying, wait a minute, Jody, this is my home living room.
That's 4 on Reynolds.
Now watch this right now. Here's Jimmy. He's going to slide into the post. Now he's going to post. Now watch him right here. Does he slip? Oh, no.
Oh.
Reynolds mugged him. I don't know.
Nice headlock.
Yeah, Reynolds mugged him.
Jackson tries to pass, knocked away. Baker picked up the ball, and Greg Graham was hit in the face. It is getting more physical by the moment. A lot of hand checking going on.
That's the 3rd guy they rotated on Jackson. Poor job defensively by Graham. He never puts a hand up to bother him. He beats him to the spot, but then he gives him a clear window at the look at the basket.
66-54.
He never contested a shot. Oh, good move. Goes to the 1-3-1 zone just to change rhythm. Whoa!
Bailey's a good outside shooter, so is Chaney.
Very streaky shooter, Chaney. Bailey's another guy that doesn't look at the basket enough. He's a better shooter. He should think a little bit more shot.
Shot clock's down to 12. Randy Ayers up applauding, telling his defense, good job. And it has been. Chaney fakes the 3. Shot clock at 5. Bailey had to force one up. Anderson offensive rebound over Robinson.
That was an outstanding offensive rebound because he went laterally to get it. He was determined. That was a tremendous effort by Anderson.
The thing about Anderson, his shooting has been off all night. He has come up in the last couple of minutes with 2 huge offensive rebounds.
Now Bailey knows the clock is running down. He gets in the middle. Now here is Anderson. Robinson a little slow to the ball, and then he does a great job. Look at him. He says, I love it. Calvert, I love it.
Anderson fails again on the 3-point play.
He's not even really getting that real good rotation.
66-56. Indiana hasn't been within 10 in a month. Jackson baseline. He's fouled. Shot will not go for him, though.
Good decision right there by Jimmy Jackson, shooting the 15-foot jumper.
Foul was on Reynolds. That is 5 unofficially on Chris Reynolds. their best defensive player. Officially, it is his fourth. He will sit down anyway.
Bobby Knight really is very high on Chris Reynolds. He really likes him. I'll tell you what, when he talks about Reynolds defensively, he naturally talks a little bit about Quinn Buckner. Yeah. Certainly Buckner back in '76 was a brilliant leader. That was Dan Dockage we just took a look at.
Jackson with 15 points tonight. The lead back to 11. Still plenty of time. 9:58 left.
Comes from a great family. I've had the pleasure to meet his mom and dad, and I'm hoping like heck that the Jimmy Jacksons and the Calvert Cheneys remain in Big Ten action and don't think about the NBA.
Missed the second one. A chance for Indiana to get the lead down to single digits.
They got to look for the three. Get on the sideline. Get the ball to Cheney.
Cheney's wide open now.
Yeah, he's on that sideline. See, against the 1-3-1, you can get baseline jumpers.
They look very reluctant to take the three. Both Bailey and Cheney have had their chance. Tregley with a block, and the foul it is on Tregley. That's his third.
Very important to convert the free throws for several reasons. One, for some point production, but two, to get into full court trust. Does he ever get excited? Look at Randy, so relaxed. You mentioned it earlier, Mike, and it's so true. If winning the Big Ten championship is the priority to both clubs, this game is a must for Indiana on their own floor.
Indiana shot 29% from the floor in the first half. They shot 58 in the second half. The only way they get back in the game. Calvert Cheney hits the free throw. 67-57. Cheney with 16. Can cut it to 9.
First time it's been in single digits in a long, long time.
What a great stroke he has. Crowd on its feet, most of them at least.
Jackson's being played by Meeks right now. He can't play him. Jackson's got to let a switch on it.
Brown. Oh, what a bank shot by Brown. You got to call those, don't you?
Wow. Little Hail Mary time right there by Jamaal, but he's had a big, big night.
He has tied his career high with 20 points.
The 1-3-1 takes away the motion game. It eliminates the screening and the high percentage offensive efficiency of Indiana.
Jackson knocked it out of bounds.
Right now, they have to attack the baseline. They have 1-3-1 zone. You want to go 2-1-2 and attack the baseline.
Which makes you wonder why more people don't play zone against Indiana.
Exactly. I would really zone them. I'd take away that motion game. But then again, you want to play to your strength, and their strength right now all year. There's the wing jumper.
Greg Graham with a miss. Anderson with a tip. Rebound to Robinson.
If Indiana has a liability, we talked about it at the top of the show, is go to the zone. I don't believe they're a great perimeter shooting team.
Almost a steal by Meeks. Jackson pushed him off. What a pass to Lee in the foul. Holy cow, what a pass by Jackson.
Jackson has the great vision. He really has tremendous vision, and he loves to pass the basketball.
Foul on Cheney was his second.
I thought right here Meeks beats him to the ball. Drive him, beat him, turn him. And I thought, oh, a little fake.
Yeah.
A little fake.
Oh, what a pass. Jeez.
He's so effective if he gets in the middle. They worked like heck yesterday at practice. Trying to keep Jackson was their plan away from the middle.
Tregley with a miss. 11 points, 8 rebounds. Tregley would be the #1 free throw shooter in the Big Ten if he had enough attempts before that shot. 32 of 35, 91%.
Wow.
Them both.
But they got to capitalize right here somehow.
Huge possession.
I like the decision of Randy Ayers to zone. I really like his decision. Make it improve. They can shoot this perimeter shot. And Cheney would be the guy to shoot it.
Cheney and Bailey have both been open from outside and seem reluctant to pull the trigger. Graham. Got it!
Wide open. The wing jump shot will be wide open.
A 3 for Graham. He has 14. The lead is 8.
Next possession, I would rotate to a man-to-man if I were Randy Ayers.
That's the first three-point field goal for Indiana tonight.
They really love operating on a box.
Lee, no-look pass to Jackson. Oh.
Lee is a tremendous passer, and they really utilize the box exceptionally well.
71-61.
He's staying in the zone.
You got to watch the kind of illusions I just used in this day and age. Sorry for that. Once again, Graham spun out.
Graham is not a good shooter. He's a very streaky shooter. He's a slashing kind of player. They're giving him the open wing jump shot. Using clock right now, very important. High percentage shot. Oh, good execution. That's a high percentage shot.
Brown buried.
That's just great execution.
Great shot.
That's designed by your coach in practice. If there's one area that Randy Ayers has changed a little bit from Gary Williams, he has gone to a half-court offensive set a lot more and doesn't utilize the full court as much as Gary. The full court traps and run.
73-61, 3 for Damon Bailey. Won't go. Kept alive by Graham, though. Nice play.
See the decision also to go to the zone, slowing the tempo, and Indiana was getting a real good tempo. It's a great look.
Bailey to Anderson, no basket. He was fouled before the shot by Gent. A break for Ohio State there as Gent committed the personal foul. And that is 5 on Gent.
Gent trying to beat Anderson to the spot. There's the entry. Oh, there's the push before the ball is there. Good call by Gary Muncy.
Harry Carter, number 32, goes in, replacing Gent.
Chris Gent has really accepted the role of coming off the bench, and that takes a special player because last year he was a starter. Tomorrow in my Fast Break series, I talk about the best 6 men in basketball.
Anderson has only hit 5 out of 10 free throws. Goes to the line here. Had a good-looking rotation on that.
He was Mr.
12 points
Basketball.
for Anderson.
Mr. Basketball in high school, beat out LaFonso Ellis. You talk about a coach having a tough time. Tough luck for Digger Phelps, losing Monty Williams to start the season and then losing LaFonso Ellis academically.
73-62, 6:47 to go in the game. The lead is back to 10. We have a timeout on the court. It's a 10-point game, Ohio State over Indiana.
On SportsCenter, Georgetown and Syracuse, they don't call it Big Monday for nothing. The Celtics and Pistons get it on at the Palace, and our first Super Bowl report from Tampa. All that and more coming up on SportsCenter after the game. We'll see you then.
Toughest player to play in college basketball or in any level is a guy that moves without the ball. Look at Jackson now. He's perpetual motion. Here he is running his man all over the floor, constantly moving. There he is now, goes right down the gut of the defense. Great look by Trey Lee. Just a tremendous job, movement without the ball.
Some guys can turn it up a notch when it counts. Jim Jackson is one of them. Look at the disparity between the first and the second half in his performance.
That's what makes the special players, the Magic Johnsons, the Michael Jordans, the Larry Birds, wanting to do the job down the stretch.
73-63, approaching the 6.5-minute mark.
Not only do they want to do it, they do it.
Jackson isolated on Meeks.
Thank
Big
you.
bucket.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Just on cue, perfectly.
Quickly the other way, Greg Graham, almost ahead of the pack. Damon Bailey.
Now they rotate back into a man-to-man defensively again now, giving them a different look.
Chaney, nice soft touch from the lane.
Not going to stop him now the way he feels it out of the man-to-man. The zone is more effective. I think you'll see him go back to the zone defensively.
Chaney has 19 points.
They have to find a way to get a good defensive stop. Well, that's a walk. Oh.
Harry Carter, fouled by Anderson, is the call, his third.
I thought maybe it was a little dance right there. You didn't see the little disco dance? Little John Travolta? I wonder if Bobby Knight can dance. You think he can dance? I wonder if he
No
can
comment.
dance. I wonder if he can dance.
It wouldn't be something I'd pay to see, I know that. The storyline from Indiana. They led by 19 at the half. Jamaal Brown, a career-high 22. Indiana has really come back with its field goal percentage, and the bench has come through with 29 points.
Every time Indiana makes the big bucket on their end of the floor, Ohio State finds a way to put some points on the board, whether it be from the free throw line or from a possession by Jackson.
Harry Carter missed that one badly. The lead is 11, 5:49 to go.
See, they can try to make it 5-on-5. They got to try and push and get some scores with the numbers.
Damon Bailey, good help defense by Ohio State. They cut him off at the pass.
Damon's got to look at the basket. He can shoot the three-pointer.
Chaney for three. Big bucket there. 76-68, 22 for Chaney.
He's just like Jimmy Jackson, a guy that does it in the second half. Now look at right now, they put the ball right in Jackson's hands. Meeks trying to beat him, draws the help.
Jackson forced that one. Great job by Carter to steal it back.
He got the ball back because of his physical strength right there. Great hands by Carter.
Tregley. Carter. Had it stolen by Meeks. Damon Bailey.
Oh, Larson. Oh, that's awesome. They wave it off. They wave it off.
No. Holy cow. Do you believe that? Bobby Knight doesn't.
Meeks pushes the ball up the court. He drives it to Bailey. Bailey splits the defender. He thought, there's the push. There's the push. Not continuation, not in college basketball.
Then it's got to be an intentional foul because he did not go for the ball.
Norm Ellenberger sitting to Bobby's left. Look at the reaction of Bobby. He's stunned. He can't believe it.
You can't call it a common foul if you don't give him the bucket. He's hit 7 out of 12, now make it 8 out of 13 from the line. The 1-point difference in what could have been a 3-point play may come in very
big
decidedly
play.
here.
Big play.
76-69. Now the lead is 6. Do you believe this comeback?
Great comeback. One of the real sparks. Calvert Chaney. Pat Graham on the floor right now. I don't believe he has the quickness to check Jackson. JJ wants the ball right now.
Carter. Three-pointer from Jamaal Brown. No, they say it's a 2. What a big shot. Brown and Baker for Ohio State have had sensational nights.
Brown has really played well. Lots of poise in that possession.
Oh, what a move. Greg Graham sliced between 2 defenders.
That's what he does best. He's a slasher.
Where were these guys in the first half?
See, I don't believe Pat Graham can check this guy right now. He's getting him right over the screen. They switch.
Chaney's on him right now. Dump down to Tregley.
It all is initiated by the move by Jimmy Jackson. He's going to get Meeks, or Meeks is rotating in right now at the bench.
Meeks will come back in for Pat Graham. You're right. He's been exploited on defense. Chaney backs it out. The lead is 8 with 3:52 left from Bloomington. Number 3 against number 4. Chaney.
He can drive, he can run the break, he can shoot the jumper. He is a total, consummate, outstanding scoring small forward.
He has 24, only had 4 at the half. Excuse me, 6. He has 18 in this half. Jackson. Short. Carter, another offensive rebound.
Because they're not blocking out. They said yesterday at practice, we talked about it at the top of the show. If they don't block out, they can't win. Big possession there, not blocking out.
Trying to take some time off the clock, 3:14 to go.
They're going to spread the court, going a one-on-one. Good move. Graham has the quickness at least. The baby trying to play Jackson.
Great pass to Carter, reverse layup, missed it, but he's fouled.
Good execution, good call by Randy Ayers. Going to the 4-corner attack, spreading the court, and going to an isolation.
Foul was on Chaney, his 3rd.
See Jackson involved in every big play. Good look by Jackson, dumps it, the angle, good entry.
Boy, Jackson, a master of that backhand little flip bounce pass. Meeks will come back in for Indiana. Skelton will come in. Jackson sits down for Ohio State. A little surprised at this?
Well, he'll sit down maybe for one possession just to get a little breath, rest him a little on the defensive end, bring him back in on the offensive end.
Perry Carter, 1 out of 2 from the line. He has 9 rebounds. That's his job.
Paul Brazo sitting next to Jimmy Jackson does a great job in the scouting and the planning.
Hits the first, 81-74.
It was a big jump shot by Brown because they had momentum, Indiana. That jump shot to give them the 8-point lead was really big.
And just like the last
offensive rebound again.
Yeah.
They're not laying a body. There's no block out.
And they can work some more time off the clock. 2:56 and counting.
Spreading the court, trying to take advantage of their quickness.
Gilbert Jackson's not in there now.
But Baker's got supreme quickness. So does Brown, a great athlete, tremendous high jumper, 6'10" in high school.
Brown may be the go-to guy as the shooter in this sequence. Baker, he's fouled.
They're really having a tough time defending Ohio State in the isolation.
That foul was also called on Chaney, his fourth.
What we're seeing right now, Mike, is strictly one-on-one basketball, and it gets down to whether or not you possess the athletic quickness to check the man you're guarding.
Coming up at midnight Eastern, number 1, UNLV. Besides Ohio State, the only undefeated major college team against UC Santa Barbara.
Well, you want me to tell you when they're going to get their first loss? They can't hear me. They're in the locker room right now, so they won't get mad at me. But their first loss, the Razorbacks in Barnhill, baby.
I'll tell you when they'll get their first loss, whenever you give them a pep talk.
Arkansas. No, I give a lot of pep talks to teams who win. You're talking about the Fighting Irish in football.
Baker hits the free throw. It's 82-74, an 8-point lead with 2:37 left. Minutes, 37 seconds to go from Bloomington. Ohio State leads Indiana 82-74. The number 3 and number 4 ranked teams in the country. Here is the reset situation. Ohio State with only one timeout. Neither team with a foul to give. If we have a jump ball situation, Indiana would get it on the possession arrow.
What really has haunted Indiana late right now, they have 4 basic theories to their defense. Pressure the ball, deny on the wing, beat the cutter, and block out. They did not block out in 2 big possessions.
Indiana must score right here. Meeks, guarded by Skelton. Chaney exploded to the basket and scored. Calbert Chaney with 26.
He is really just carrying his team offensively.
Anderson tries to Carter. It's a 6-point game in Indiana's ball. What a play by Anderson.
Anderson's got to try to lock inside, dump the ball, and try to get a score either on a box, or they're trying to post Bailey.
Damon Bailey, he's fouled. The shot will not count.
But it stops the clock, and he goes to the line. Randy Ayers wanted the walk-in violation.
Baker committed the foul, his third. Chris Gent has already fouled out for Ohio State, and this is not a deep team at all.
We're looking at a team right now, 15-0, one of the only 2 unbeaten teams. Jimmy Jackson back on the floor. They don't rotate a lot of people, Mike, but they're deeper than people believe, because Alex Davis, when he gets healthy, gives them another quality guard. They have Bill Robinson, who can give them quality minutes, and Gent off the bench.
Bailey is at 2 out of 3 from the line, does not get the roll here.
He has to become a lot more aggressive offensively. He has a tendency to be a little bit too passive. He's got to look at that basket a little more.
The lead is 5 with 1:57 to go, and Bob Knight wants a timeout to talk about it. The 2 top teams in the Big Ten with 1:57 to go. We'll be back in a moment. Ohio State leading Indiana 82-77. If you joined us late, Indiana hasn't been this close since it was 2 minutes into the ball game. And here are the conference standings going into tonight's game. Ohio State and Indiana both undefeated. Michigan State lurking back there with just 1 loss.
Their loss was on the road to Iowa. Basically, a coach is trying to establish in the timeouts matchups, strategy, score, time, and try to get the players just to concentrate and execute. Go to a half-court trap. 3-quarter trap, rather. There it is.
Trying to beat the 10-second clock.
They pop it loose.
Lost the ball. Reynolds. Indiana.
What a look! What a tremendous play by Meeks.
And here is the foul on Reynolds. He will foul out of the ball game. We talked about Meeks as an assist man. What a pass that was.
I almost jumped out of the seat and I don't realize we're sitting so high. What a great effort by Jamaal Meeks. Watch the double team. Now there's the trap. They surprise him with a trap. They pop the ball right out of Lee. Here comes the ball. It's popped by Reynolds and by Chaney. Now watch Meeks, number 23. The ball is on the ground. It's rolling loose. Now here comes Meeks. He dives and has the alertness and awareness to find Damon Bailey.
Reynolds gets a hand as he leaves. And now every possession, every free throw is big. It's 82-79. Brown goes to the line. He's a 66% shooter, but tonight he has hit 7 of 8.
What a supreme effort by Indiana in the second half to get back in this game against a really outstanding Ohio State team. Ohio State, to me, is even better than I anticipated.
Jamaal Brown, a career high, 25 tonight. Make it 26.
He's made 2 big free throws and that big jumper on the wing.
84-79, Indiana running out of time. A minute and a half to go.
Every possession, as you said earlier, Mike, they almost have to score. Mandatory. Look, Anderson and Cheney.
Cheney with a runner in the lane. Got the roll.
When is he missed?
84-81. Cheney has 28-22 in the second half.
And they got away with an illegal screen, but I would say that right now. What an illegal screen by Bailey. Bailey laid an illegal screen up Brass. He was moving. You watch Bailey, number 22. I mean, is he head hunting? Is he moving? Is he moving? Is he moving? Are you serious? 3 guys watching that. Oh, baby, did he get away with an illegal screen. Watch number 22. All right, let me explain the rule. The rule says you must be stationary in establishing that screen. Now, you tell me if he's stationary right here. You watch. Well, we don't see it there, but there's Cheney converting.
Dick, I tell you one thing is amazing about being here in Bloomington is this crowd is always so fired up. They had to wait 30 minutes of game time on that clock really to get into it because Ohio State was just outplaying them so badly.
Ohio State dominated, and one of their priorities, one of their reports were that they wanted to take the crowd out of the game, and they did a tremendous job.
Well, they're not out of it now. Sports Center follows our telecast. We have a minute and 19 seconds to go on the clock. Indiana has closed to within 3. It will be Ohio State basketball.
When you lay a rear screen, you must allow the defensive player 1 step. A front screen, you can get as close as possible, but you must be stationary. But Cheney's been sizzling. His stock has gone up and up with his second half performance.
It's up to the defense now. Treg Lee, 3-on-1, feeds off to Brown. The basket, does it count or not? It does.
What a look by Treg Lee, but what a play by Jamaal Brown. And that tells a story right there in disappointment and dejection.
That foul will be on Greg Graham. That will be his 5th.
Here's Treg Lee's ability to handle a basketball. 6'9", good dump off. There's Brown cutting with the ball. What a
Graham
game.
got there late. Anderson couldn't block it. Graham out with 16 points. Pat Graham comes back in. It's now a 5-point lead. And the free throw would make it 6.
What a tremendous job by Greg Graham in the second half. I mean, a sensational job.
Brown has had an incredible ball game, probably the finest of his career.
Can't spot this club better than 20 and think you're going to get in the W column.
87-81, a minute 8 to go.
They're going to think 3 right now. Pat Graham's an excellent shooter, but his stats don't show it.
Cheney from 15. Fight for the rebound, and the foul will go on Indiana.
Treg Lee's pass to Jamaal Brown could have been the icing. Still 59 seconds. If he converts here, he makes it now 3 possessions. Right now it's 2 possessions, and you have a chance for a tie.
Well, the one thing Indiana has not done, they even haven't appeared to look for the 3-point shot.
Well, if you look at their stats, I was talking to Bob Hamill, the writer who follows Indiana very thoroughly, and I said, you know, in the day and age of the 3-point shot, they're not even averaging 10 attempts per game.
Right.
And I think today you have to think 3-point shot in the modern era, and that's why when you look at the job that Ricky Pitino has done is amazing. He's taken advantage of the rule.
Perry Carter has hit 2 out of 5 from the free throw line. Back to that 3-point thinking. Calbert Cheney is the best on the Indiana team. He shoots 45%. He has made 25 threes this year. Then you have to go all the way down to Damon Bailey, who's made only 11 for the season.
It's hard to believe that Pat Graham is not a better long-range shooter. He's got perfect technique, and he came in with a reputation as a tremendous shooter, number 33.
And he's only made 4 of them. Damon Bailey working down the lane, trying to draw the 3-point play. He did draw the foul.
Stops the clock, allows him to get into a trap. Randy knows now with the trap, they got to think about either ball reversal, either the diagonal man or a post man.
Treg Lee picked up the foul, his 4th. Meeks comes back in, and Pat Graham will go out.
He's trading offense for defense with Meeks and Graham.
And Damon Bailey, the freshman out of Heltonville, has hit 3 out of 5 from the line tonight. Boy, Indiana has really hurt itself from the free throw line.
they hurt themselves by really coming out and playing poorly out of the gate. And Ohio State certainly helped itself by outplaying Bobby's team here in the first half to get that big lead, that cushion.
Indiana has missed 9 free throws tonight. They are down by 6 right now.
That's the reversal I'm talking about, the trail man. You have 3 basic looks out of attacking the pressure. 1 is the trail man, 2 is a diagonal man, and 3 is a post man.
Foul was on Anderson, his 4th. And coaches always have a list of who they want to foul at the end. Perry Carter, of course, is the first guy you look for at only 59%. Treg Lee, 91%, is probably the last guy you would want. But sometimes the statistics are deceptive. Jim Jackson, to me, would be the last guy you'd want to foul.
Because late in the game, he is dynamite with the ball. He's clutch.
There's that 91% free throw shooter. He had missed 2 out of 3 going to the line right here.
And this is another area we talk about winning teams must do. They must execute special situations out of the football team. We always talk about the punt game, the punting game, the kicking game.
90-82, approaching 40 seconds. They've got to hit the 3. Graham goes inside the line.
Not a heady play. Pat's struggling right now. He's mentally really struggling.
Cheney for 3 won't go. Well, they wasted about 10 seconds and then got another 3-point shot.
It's going to be a beautiful trip home at St. John Arena. This team is going to love them. There's a hole. That's a deliberate foul. He hugged.
Damon Bailey hustling after Lee, commits the personal. That will be 3 on him. And with 20 seconds to go, it is time to call it over.
St. John Arena is a special place right now. The fans are right down in courtside. They really rock and roll. They really get into it, and it's just a live environment. Now they go to Minnesota, and then they have a trip with Michigan State. So if they can get out of these 3 games, I thought initially, if they can get out of these 3 and win 2, they'd be in great shape. But what a great way to start. 1 for 1 out of the 3.
This will be the 2nd time ever Ohio State has won in this building here at Assembly Hall. They won in 1985, a game that a lot of Indiana fans called a fluke. This one was no fluke.
Oh, no, they really, out of the gate, Indiana had to fight like heck just to get back in the game.
Pat Graham with the 3. It falls. Indiana will use the timeout with 10 seconds left, but it's 92-85.
Just take a look at his shot right there. Squares the body well. It's got the good release. Well, I know one thing. One of the big Ohio State boosters, Stevie Block of Block's Bagels, baby, has the bagels rolling right now and celebrating.
Where do you come up with this
I meet these
stuff?
fans in my travels in the lobby. That's why I'm on lobby. I love people. I'm all over the lobbies.
You are the all-lobby team, all by yourself. Midnight Eastern, #1 UNLV against UC Santa Barbara. Of course, barring a miracle here, Ohio State will go to 16-0. They are the only other undefeated major college basketball team.
And the last team to go undefeated in college basketball and win the national championship right here in Bloomington, Indiana.
75-76.
I think the greatest team in college basketball in my era. And I certainly know a lot of people now are talking UNLV in that category. But I really believe when they lock it up and they go to Barnhill and the athletes of Arkansas will meet that challenge. But I really think somewhere down the line, that might be something good to happen to Jerry's team prior to the start of the NCAA tournament. Quinn Buckner, Bobby Wilkerson, in the middle, Kent Benson, Scott May, an unbelievable team, and Abernathy was the other forward. Off the bench, Jim Wiseman, and a guy by the name of Wayne Radford. There's the 7. That's all through memory.
Memory's not bad.
Hey, Bobby Knight and I were talking baseball. He couldn't believe I named, for example, the Boston Red Sox when they had Bobby Dorr as a foul. They had Bobby Dorr at second base. And he says, I can't believe it. Ted Williams in left field, Dom DiMaggio in center field, Zeke Zarella, Vern Stevens, Johnny Pesky, Bertie Tebbets, Mel Parnell. You impressed with my baseball knowledge?
Yes, I am.
I'm auditioning right now. I'm hoping to get a baseball job with ESPN. I want to work baseball. I've messed up basketball, so why not mess up baseball? And then I want to do
some of those games can go 3.5 hours. I don't know if I'm prepared for that.
I want to do tennis with Lynn. I want to do tennis with Mary Carrillo, which set tennis in fire. Carrillo and Vital. No, I like Vital and Carrillo better.
Jackson misses the free throw. 92-85. 9 seconds left. Jim Jackson with 19 points tonight. Another superb second half.
It's been great, though, Mike, being here, seeing the comeback by Indiana.
It's a special experience.
It really is. It really was a great moment building for the game. And just all the excitement. Randy did a great job today at practice. Why? He's still coaching and pleading, but is that going to be one beautiful trip right now back to Columbus, Ohio? They're flying out right after the game.
Our final score, Ohio State still unbeaten, 93, Indiana 85. For Dick Vitale and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Bloomington, Indiana.